Okay, let's get right into it. We're about to take a hard look at a core belief of the modern workplace. You know, one of those ideas that's so fundamental, we pretty much never think to question it.
And this is it. This is the golden rule, right? Give people freedom, let them have a voice, and their well-being is going to skyrocket. It's literally the foundation of countless management books, leadership seminars, the whole HR playbook. It's just a given. Or is it?
Now check out this number, -0.0805. I know, it looks tiny, but it's a statistically reliable correlation from a huge study. We're talking nearly 2,000 people across 85 countries, and it hints at something really wild. For a specific group of people, having the freedom to voice their opinions is actually negatively linked to their well-being. It's a tiny crack, sure, but it's a crack in a foundation we thought was solid rock.
And here's the proof that our little number isn't just a fluke. It is part of a much larger and really clear pattern. This data comes from what we call the green value system. That's a mindset that's all about community, consensus, and belonging. Now look at the positive correlations. Well-being is strongly tied to trust and friendship. Totally makes sense. But it's negatively linked to things that might rock the boat, like spending too much time with just one person or, voicing an opinion that goes against the grain. The data is screaming at us. For this group, harmony is a way stronger signal of well-being than individual authenticity. To feel safe, you have to belong. And, as this suggests, to belong, you might just have to stay quiet.
So this gets us to the absolute core of the problem. An organization isn't one single thing. It's more like a collection of different psychological operating systems, all running at the same time. And just like software, they can take the exact same input and produce wildly different results.
So, let's play this out. Imagine you're a manager. You've got the best intentions, and you launch a big initiative to boost autonomy. We just saw how the green system reacts. It quiets down to keep the peace. But what about the others? Well, a blue system, which is all about order and rules, sees this as a complete breakdown of discipline. An orange system, driven by efficiency, looks at all the time spent on consensus and just sees a colossal waste of time. And a red system, which is focused on power, it sees all this new ambiguity as the perfect opportunity to grab control and push its own agenda. One action, three totally different, and honestly, totally predictable negative reactions.
So what's the immediate result on the people? Well, they adapt. And fast. They learn that their real, authentic voice isn't what's being rewarded here. What gets rewarded is fitting in. So dissent doesn't just vanish, it just goes underground. Leaders look around the room, they see everyone nodding, and they mistake that surface-level agreement for real buy-in. They confuse compliance with psychological safety, when actually, it's the exact opposite.
And this kicks off a really devastating chain reaction. First, the signals you're getting are distorted. You're making big decisions based on bad information. Then, since you're rewarding the wrong behaviors, you start promoting the wrong people. You promote the compliant ones, not the critical thinkers. This makes the entire organization incredibly fragile, unable to handle any real stress. And the final predictable stop on this train? Trust is completely destroyed.
So how in the world do you navigate this kind of minefield? You might think this is all just soft, unpredictable people stuff. But it's not. There are actually frameworks for this, like the dynamic programming model. It's a serious mathematical way to model these very human factors, things like fear, trust, and belonging. You can think of it as a kind of algebra of conscience. It turns these abstract ideas into variables in an equation, letting you map out the invisible costs and ripple effects of your decisions before you actually make them.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that you absolutely cannot use a one-size-fits-all approach to leadership. It just doesn't work. The hidden human dynamics will always determine the real outcome. The same great idea will lead to completely different places, depending on the operating system it's running on. Without modeling for this, you're just guessing. And what really breaks down in the process is your ability to see who's actually benefiting from a policy and who is silently paying the price. Which really leaves us with one last pretty provocative question. We all want our teams to have a sense of well-being. But what happens when, for some people, that feeling of safety and belonging isn't achieved by speaking up, but by staying silent? What happens when well-being itself requires dissent to be silenced?